Try it. Right now. Picture the lights going off of the room you're sitting in. The computer, the air conditioning, phones, everything. Then the people, every last person in your building, on the street outside, the entire neighborhood, vanished. With them go all noises, chit-chat, coughs, cars, and that wordless, almost impalpable hum of a city. And animals. No dogs, no birds, not even a cricket's legs rubbing together. Not even a smell. Now bump it up to 95 degrees. Turn your radio on and listen to 80% of your city drowning. You're almost there. Only 28 days to go.
I don't know of any police department or any army that have ever faced such insurmountable odds.
And Garland, I keep hearing that it's coming. And these goddamn ships that are coming, I don't see them. All kind of goddamn, excuse my French, everybody in America, but I am pissed. And they probably found guns. So what you're seeing is drug-starving, crazy addicts, drug addicts, that are wreaking havoc. And we don't have the manpower to adequately deal with.
I cannot believe that I'm in the USA. I covered 5 wars in my journalist life. I've never seen something like that. Every war has the rules. Every war. This is without rules.
This is a memoir of life in the disaster zone during the 2 months after the hurricane. It is how and why those who insisted on staying survived amongst the ruins of their towns and homes. I was one of them.
I'm Joshua Clark, and I've always been too lazy to actually write any kind of diary, so instead I make recordings, and that's what I started doing the day before Katrina with my handy-dandy little big, actually, Radio Shack tape recorder here, and before I knew it, it was 2 months later, and I have a box full of cassette tapes now. In addition to my own audio diary, I interviewed people from literally every last region that the hurricane touched. People are much more likely to forget about a tape recorder tucked under your arm like this than they are a video camera in your face. Like, I'm having one shoved in my face right now, and I sure as heck can't forget it. And then when we got electricity back, after 1 month, I then spent the month of October with my new friend, Ride Hamilton, who during the month of September, when we had no electricity, before the Red Cross was here, anybody, he was sort of the medic of the French Quarter, and he would sew the guy's ear back on in the middle of the street, you know, he would stitch people up and bathe people and bandage them and clean their wounds and stuff like that, long before we had any outside help. You know, we had to do everything ourselves, and that's how this neighborhood survived, because we stuck together, and we were like family. He and I went out to literally every single outer-lying region that the hurricane had touched. The French Quarter, the heart of New Orleans, was also sort of the heart of the book. It's America's oldest bohemia. It's, I think, its most inimitable neighborhood. And this is where we remained and where we stayed dry and where people bound together. All these mechanics that modern man employs that become extensions of our bodies, whether it's our car or our air conditioning or our computer, they vanished with a breath on the morning of August 29th. You know, we knew only what was in front of our faces, what we could see and what we could touch. We were in a total media blackout. So I offer you that, the things that we knew to be true. And here, bells of St. Louis Cathedral going off right now. Mississippi River behind me, and that tree used to be a whole lot bigger than it is now. I watched Katrina tear that up pretty good, and this is the Fontabo Apartments where I live, supposedly the oldest apartments in the country. More than anything, perhaps, humor was our bandage. I mean, it was all about, like, keeping a smile on your face while there were tears in your eyes.
You can put a gun to my head. I would rather die than not live in the French Quarter.
Are you gonna eat that spam? Nah, dude, top dollar, man, right here. What's it going for right now? 15 an ounce. Hey guys, I got the good shit. Good shit, $15. Tell me your name.
My name is Derek.
Derek. And you were up at the zoo, I understand.
Yeah, the Audubon golf course.
You were up at the Audubon golf course. You got a purple white vest on. What were you doing up there?
I was just I was establishing that as a clothing optional. Zone, yeah. Doing a little swimming, naked? A little swimming, little shampooing, toothbrushing, all at the same time, waving at the helicopter. 3 helicopters circling around, SWAT teams of 20 men, breaking through the windows, getting the animals out, the elderly. It's a total clean sweep out there.
Did you see any animals up there?
Oh, ducks, that was the first thing. I went in there, fed the ducks with a bunch of bread. Yeah, they're like chili, geese, ducks, all the animals are like kicking back, yeah.
I was helping rescue some animals, and I cut myself really bad on some glass. Oh, that's deep, dude. It had to be stitched up. They were nice enough to actually finish the procedure.
And then they
arrested me for trespassing of the convention center.
Peter, where's the lockup now?
It's at the Greyhound bus station.
Shit, that's by the Amtrak station?
Yeah, it's in the parking lot of the...
And so they have everyone who's arrested just sleeping in there, or what?
Fence enclosures on the concrete where the buses are dripping oil and stuff, and it's funny because there's actually there's dogs in the same enclosure going in and out of the city. But the amazing thing was during the night, the city jail population was 7 people. By noon, it was only 2 of us. We're the only 2. And he was yelling and screaming, being really obnoxious. So they just put a shotgun through the cyclone fencing and pulled the trigger. It was a loud boom. Discharge. The guy dropped to the ground. Moan, and then he got up again, and he started yelling.
Was he bleeding all over?
And he started yelling again, so what they did, they shot him again, and then he dropped moaning, and he was on the ground for a while, and then he got up again, and then everybody realized.
I'm a witness to the gun.
Right.
I'm witnessing. For what reason I have to witness, I don't know. But I'm here. Right. It's not the best thing. I think I can visit a number of places. I used to visit the Twin Towers. There was a great restaurant there. Not the best food.
Windows on the world.
Windows on the world. But what a great view. It's just delightful.
Boom, they said detonators. They blew them levers. They said detonators. A timing for it to go on. They thought we all was dead over here.
They like to try to kill us, honestly.
I stood home. We had to come out this water.
Outside, the boat was up level with the window, and the water was just rising. I had to bail in the boat. I knew I was going to get electrocuted. Snakes everywhere you shine your light, moccasins everywhere.
Then you're skeptical about coming back. 40 years from now, they're going to blow the fucking lever again.
I ain't going nowhere.
We're not going nowhere.
Once in 20 years, and the first time was like this, and this time it's just more. I'm not going nowhere.
Yeah. Mother Nature. So I ain't going nowhere. Good. It's God's country. I ain't leaving God's country.
I didn't hear nobody banging on none of the attics or nothing like that after about the 3rd or 4th day. So then I just started picking up whoever I found on the roofs and stuff like that.
How many people do you estimate you picked up?
Just in the attics, out of at least 150 people that we chopped out the attics. Me and the first guy that I rescued, I just happened to know him from out here. It was at least 150 people that was in the attics. And after that, it could have been into the thousands.
All the street lights was out, but you see that night when the rain stopped and the wind stopped, I ain't never seen the sky light up like that. But Lord, there had some stars up there twinkling, letting you know, baby, stop worrying. We got you up here.
Nothing could be handled. Nothing. I thought I could have handled it when I get down here. I really thought I could have from just the rumors. But when I actually hit Point Lahash, I think that took everything from me. That took everything from me.
I made a mistake. I took my grandchildren with me when I first came. My granddaughter was in my truck screaming because she saw my home. She could not believe what she saw. Oh, look at my mom. I want to get in there. Oh, my. Oh, God. My daddy, we gotta get in. Yeah, we gotta get in.
Going to pick it up from there, you know. I want to see them raised up. I want to be able to tell them, because there's a lot of them. One of them was just 2 months old when we had to leave from here. So there's a lot of things we have to tell them.
Is there any chance they're going to grow up here?
Oh, yes. We're coming back home. We're coming back home.
like to hear that.
We're coming back home. This is home. We're coming back home. We're going to rebuild. We're going to come back home.
It's important to understand that I was living here not as a journalist, but as someone who is very much a part of this insane community that we constructed here. This is what it's like to walk on the windows of skyscrapers and pull stars from the bottoms of your feet. This is me getting the very first Katrina tattoo by a guy using a mag light and a car battery to power the needle, and hearing on the radio at the same time your mayor requesting 25,000 body bags. Having the police in the middle of the night draw guns on you and threaten to shoot you with their Glocks repeatedly and then handcuff you to your girlfriend outside your apartment while they tear your car apart. Normally I would love to be handcuffed to my girlfriend, but that was not fun at that time. This is us cleaning up fallen brick walls to make way for emergency vehicles with our bleeding hands because we didn't have anything else to do it with. Watching and feeling a large section of your neighborhood blow up in the middle of the night on your birthday. How when a dog first returns to his home and there's nothing left but the concrete slab of the foundation, how he'll go and curl up right where his favorite couch used to be and go to sleep. This is about a house appearing across St. Louis Bay as soon as the hurricane's done in the middle of virgin forest, and no one knows where it came from. This first place that not only you love, but that has ever loved you and saved your life. You have to choose between that and the person you love. It's the darkness of a supermarket that's being torn apart around you while these sweat-soaked shadows of people are moving around you to the beat of this 12-year-old kid who's using a sledgehammer to try to break open the store safe by the entrance, and some guy is throwing tampons at you because he realizes all of a sudden that they're not Rolo's candies, and you reach behind you and all you find is that empty, thick darkness where your girlfriend used to be. I used to think these sounds were a nuisance, but try it when they all go away. But it's not even a bird or not even an insect. That's when things get scary. Eventually I gathered 7 other people, some I'd known before and some I didn't, all from varying backgrounds and varying parts of the city. Some were totally flooded out. One had bodies floating outside of his house. Brought them here into the French Quarter. And a friend of mine sort of manages this complex of old cottages and old quarters and stuff. And there's a courtyard there and a pool there. And she gave me permission to break in there, basically. And we sort of took it over. We formed what we called the compound. And we all pooled our resources together and took care of each other and became tighter than family in many ways. And eventually we formed a cleanup crew and started cleaning up the streets of the French Quarter. One of the guys in the compound, his name was Derek, and he had a scar on his face from his eye down to his to the corner of his lip here from standing on one of these balconies like I'm sitting on right now that collapsed and fell. These are centuries-old balconies that adorn all the French and colonial architecture here in the French Quarter and aren't always as well maintained as they should be. Derek's the kind of guy who would walk 7 miles round trip uptown just to bring Gatorade to an old couple, and while he was there walking to a Rite Aid that was being looted and liberate some 15-year-old scotch, walk back with a sprained ankle right through the convention center and everything. He got the scotch, by the way, with Huey Long's grandson, who would not take any liquor but got himself a real nice day planner. Second night after the storm, 6 of us crept out at midnight against curfew and sat on the steps going into the Mississippi River, and Derek played songs for us all night on an acoustic guitar, and it was just such a gift because of course we didn't have any music along with everything else, no CDs, no radio stations or anything, and so we're sitting out there passing his 15-year-old scotch around and under the stars. Despite Derek's protest that he was too drunk to play another song, I managed to convince him to play one last song. He chose a Robert Earl Keen song, which is where I ended up getting the title of my book from. And at the time, none of us knew how prescient his lyrics were. They're very much about breaking your walking shoes in and leaving your love behind, which of course everyone did to this city, and everyone who was there with us that night, and everyone who came into the compound one by one did leave the city. And eventually, my girlfriend left the city too until it was just me.
Well, let's play one song right here. One song to end it.
Yeah.
One last to end it on the river. And I'm going to record this.
Not Blackbird. Even though we could sing it, let's try it.
in your hand. You made that final call. Hard words flying by like punches in a ballroom brawl. You made a mess of things. It makes no difference now. Let's chalk it all up to the blues. Little girl, think it over one time. Little girl, think it over one time. Little girl, think it over one time. Before you break your walking shoes. I'm only what I am. I won't apologize, but if you go, you surely know you have to come to realize. Love don't walk away, only people do. So if you go or if you stay, you know I'll still be loving you. Made a mess of things, makes no difference now. Let's chalk it all up to the blues. Little girl, think it over one time. Little girl, think it over one time. Little girl, think it over one time. Before you breaking your walking the hard times sing, we made the miles go by. We've broken both our wings, but still we've had the will to fly. It's not the memories that make me talk this way. It's more like someone pulled the plug before we ever saw the flame. We made a mess of things, it makes no difference now. Let's chalk it all up to the blues. Little girl, think it over one time. Little girl, think it over one time. Little girl, think it over one time. Before you breaking your walking shoes. I've read 1,000 books, I've been behind the wheel. I've known you all my life, but still I can't feel how you feel. It's only you for me, just like that whooping crane who has one wife for all his life, and if she dies, he'll do the same. We made a mess of things, it makes no difference now. Let's chalk it all up